By far, one of the most beloved dinosaurs in the entire franchise is everyone's favorite spitter, the Dilophosaurus. The design and venom-spraying attributes of the Jurassic Park Dilo have been well recognized and imitated ever since the first movie's release back in 1993, and it's no real wonder why. Despite being featured very briefly in the original film, the dinosaur gets an entire scene dedicated to it by killing the story's main antagonist, and it's always pretty awesome to watch. Now, even though it's been pretty rare to see on the big screen since these events, this dino has left quite the mark on Jurassic Park. And today, we're going to be going over the history of the Dilophosaurus in this massive franchise. Dilophosaurus made its first appearance in the first JP novel by Michael Crichton. Here, the animals are 10 feet tall carnivores with yellow and black spots like some big cats. It is here where we first learn of them possessing the ability to spit venom at their prey, a trait that would be carried over into the film adaptation of the book. In both instances, Dilophosaurus killed Dennis Nedry during his trip to the East Dock. However, the novel's events are far more brutal and devastating than what we would get in the first movie. Towards the end of the book, it's revealed that 3 of the 7 Dilos happened to die during the events of Jurassic Park. It's never revealed just how this happened, though. Unfortunately, both this novel and this film would be the only physical appearances of the Dilophosaurus in a main story for a long time. But the dinosaur didn't happen to go away from the franchise completely. No, this dino happened to get a lot of attention. Kenner's Jurassic Park toy line first featured the Dilo as a hatchling that was bundled along with Dennis Nedry. At the same time, it would be sold as a rubber figure that could spit water and an electronic variant that came with its own movie-accurate frill. You could also find a die-cast version of the dinosaur sold alongside a Stegosaurus. Action figure Jaws Jackson would later come packaged in with an orange version of the hatchling as well. Along with these toys came Kenner's collectible trading cards, and yes, quite a lot of them featured the spitter. Now, of course, other companies besides Kenner happen to make their own Dilophosaur products as well, with 2 plushie versions of the dinosaur being released, and even a Dakin figure in late 1992. Dilophosaurus would also make notable appearances in JP video games during the time of the first film. It was present in the arcade game, both Sega Genesis titles, the Amiga release, and Jurassic Park on the NES, Game Boy, and Super Nintendo. You could also catch it in the 3DO exclusive Jurassic Park Interactive. The non-canon sequel to the first Jurassic Park, The Chaos Continues, also featured the spitter heavily, and around the same time, the dino would get its very own comic book story as well. Now, even though the Dilophosaurus wouldn't be present physically in the Lost World movie, it did manage to get a design for the monitors in the Gatherer mobile lab. Here we can see that the dinosaur is actually capable of growing up to be approximately 20 feet long. More on that later. As for the Lost World's merchandise, it isn't too hard to find Dilophosaurus. A new repaint of the old Kenner figure was sold promotion for the new movie, and it got to show up in the 1997 arcade game of the same name. Dilophosaurus also appeared as a boss for the copy levels of the Lost World on Game Gear, and the dinosaur can be found in Lost World on Sega Genesis, which was actually one of the very last titles to be made for that system. Fans who missed the Dilo in the movie could get their fix of the animal in Jurassic Park The Ride, where the dinosaur actually spits water at you while you float down the river. Unfortunately, Jurassic Park 3 would continue the trend of keeping the Dilos out of the films. However, it did manage to appear in some of the promotional material for the third movie. Dilophosaurus would show up in the Konami arcade game for JP3, as well as in the form of one of Hasbro's tie-in action figures. It would later appear in all 3 titles for the Game Boy Advance, as well as Scan Command, Dinosaur Battles, and of course, Operation Genesis. Another video game appearance would have been in Jurassic Park Survival, but that game was sadly cancelled before it was finished. Jurassic Park Jr.'s toy line would give us a baby version of the Dilophosaur, and another repaint of the electronic Dilo would come out in the JP Dinosaurs line as well. One last toy would get released before the Jurassic World hype began to take off, with the Dilo sporting a camo extreme color scheme. But just before Trevorrow revived the franchise, the Dilophosaurus would have a pretty major appearance in 2011's Telltale game that took place immediately after the first film. Now, in the 4th film in the series, Dilophosaurus actually does make a small appearance via hologram, whilst the protagonists are evading the turned velociraptors. The Dilo featured here is considerably larger than the animal that we saw in the 1993 film, but still rather small compared to its real-life counterpart. As was the case with every movie in the franchise, the Dilophosaurus would get sold as a toy to promote the newest entry in the series. It would also show up in mobile games Jurassic Park Builder and Jurassic World the game. And there was also another cancelled game that would have featured the Dilo had it been completed. And the Spitter would actually make a notable appearance in the Lego game for Jurassic World. In between movies, Dilophosaurus was actually going to make an important appearance in the cancelled Regenesis web series, in which a fully grown adult was going to stalk about the ruins of Jurassic Park. Unfortunately, this project was never completed. However, the dinosaur actually did turn up in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, albeit only to give a brief off-screen hoot. You can, however, see a vial of the animal's DNA at the end of the movie, and a green and red specimen is seen multiple times in the film on display in the Lockwood Manor. For the promotion of this newest film, Dilophosaurus would show up in the mobile game Jurassic World Alive, the park builder Jurassic World Evolution, and again, in an assortment of action figures and toys released by Mattel. And that is so far every big appearance of the Dilo in this entire film franchise. Fans have long awaited its triumphant return to the big screen and have cited multiple times how much they adore this little frilled spitter. Here's hoping that Jurassic World 3 will finally give us another great scene with this awesome dinosaur. Now before I go, I want to thank all of my game wardens, as well as all of my InGen executives like Zachariah Shadlock. I'd also like to thank my park workers and InGen hunters as well. Lady Nephthys, words can't really express how awesome it is to have you guys tell me how much you enjoy the stuff I do, and I seriously am extremely thankful for everything that you've done to show support. Honestly guys, it means the world to me. Now I'd like to thank you all for watching this video, and hope that you all enjoyed today's content. If you feel like I deserve it, I'd appreciate the like and hope that you'll consider subscribing if you're interested in hearing from me again. I'll see you all in the next video guys, and as always, take it easy.